Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another Everton 24/7 report. It's the first Friday of the year, and our weekend looks set to start on a high, with some very big news coming out today, which has come from an article that Henry Foy has written for the Financial Times. In the FT, Foy documents a conversation that he had over a meal with Alisher Usmanov, who of course has been linked with Everton for a long time through Farhad Moshiri. And he suggested apparently over this meal that he is ready to invest in Everton. The article stated Usmanov also says he is ready to invest in Everton FC, already controlled of course by his long-term business partner, with a potential equity stake or the naming rights to the club's new stadium. This is of course fantastic news for Everton if it comes to fruition, having Usmanov on the board, and the talk about stadium naming rights as well will no doubt allay any fears maybe that the stadium move could fall through, and it also means that the Blues may have some more leeway in terms of getting around the FFP regulations, which have sort of held us back as we look to kick on, and that might allow us to be a bit more ambitious in the transfer market. Having Usmanov instantly ensures for me a greater improvement in the financial security of the club from even more so probably than the one we've seen already when his colleague Farhad Moshiri took over as the lead shareholder from Bill Kenwright back in 2016. I think with his money behind us, the sky really is the limit in terms of progression off the pitch. Having that kind of progression off the pitch, such as more stadium revenue, more commercial revenue, will only give us an even greater chance, I think, to close the gap to the elite. And along with an elite manager now in Ancelotti, both of those things put together stand us in very good stead for the future. So, surely even the most pessimistic Everton fan couldn't argue with this were it to happen. The big question now is if and when it does happen. So certainly let me know what you think of this massive story. Will this end up happening? If it does, how long do you reckon we'll have to wait until it happens? But definitely let us know your opinions. And we'll move on now. On the note of Ancelotti, Carlo did his pre-match press conference today ahead of the derby on Sunday. He greeted the media with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek quip by asking them which of them were Liverpool fans, and he showed his typical composure throughout. He thought he handled it really, really well. He acknowledged the importance of this fixture and this tournament to the fans, and proceeded to say that Everton needed to play a complete game in order to beat Liverpool on Sunday. He cited his win last season as Napoli manager as an indicator that Klopp's team are beatable despite their great form this season, and if the whole team is on their A game, it is very much possible. He also stated how, in his own words, in a derby, you never know what is going on. I mean, not many of us know what's going on right now in derbies. I mean, it's been this way for my entire life, near enough, so it'd be nice to see a little change of scenery. Throw in the fact that it is a cup tie as well, which maybe does increase the chance of an upset. Ancelotti also noted that when he said the FA Cup here is completely different to others, different to Italy. There are a lot of surprises in this competition. It is a really exciting moment. We have confidence to do our best. And in the same conference, he also tried to quell questions on the transfer market, suggesting he very much was focused on the squad he currently has to work with, and he was focused on the immediate task at hand, which is good to hear. So maybe that could put to bed any immediate transfer rumours for the next week or so. However, it hasn't stopped the media from churning up a few new ones today. The biggest possible rumoured incoming appears to have come from Dean Jones of Bleacher Report. He suggested that Everton may be prepared to pay around €40 million for Roma's Turkish winger Cengiz Ünder, and apparently Everton have contacted Roma's representatives. Whether this is true is hard to tell. Stuff may well be going on behind the scenes with Marcel Brands and co, but it does very much contradict Ancelotti's words in that press conference today. Nonetheless, Cengiz Ünder is a very promising young lad, so it's worth keeping an eye on it. Now moving on, another player rumoured to be coming over from Italy, and what may, even at this early stage of the transfer window, be considered the window's most laughable Everton rumour. A Cagliari fan site in Italy has stated that Ancelotti has asked Everton to look into signing 34-year-old ex-Liverpool centre-half Ragnar Klavan. And that's a rumour which the Echo have almost instantly refuted, which is no doubt music to Evertonian ears. Of course, before he moved to the dark side, we were linked with him in his Augsburg days, but we're now talking about a 34-year-old rather than a 28-year-old, and given his connection to the neighbours, you'd be hard-pressed to find any fan who would give that deal their backing were there to be any substance to it, which I don't think there is. The Echo also, at the same time, refuted Sport Witness's rumour earlier in the day that we were pursuing Adrien Rabiot on a loan deal, which just maybe a bit more divisive than Clavan, but no less decisive, a piece of reporting by the Echo, who once again lived up to that reputation they sort of built last summer of refuting many transfer rumours as they were released. They were pretty good at shooting them down, and it seems that this window will be no different. Moving on a few changes now that will no doubt impact Tom Clark's loan report on our blog, if you want to make sure you check those out. Kieran Dowell has had his Derby County loan terminated, having made very few appearances this season and been quite a frustrating figure for Derby. He has instantly moved on another loan to Wigan Athletic, who of course are battling relegation from the Championship. So maybe slight drop in calibre, maybe a bit more of an opportunity for him to get some first team action. Also, 19-year-old starlet, who of course we only signed in the summer, Korede Adedoyin, has had his loan terminated after half a season by Hamilton Academicals in the SPL. He will return to our youth setup most likely, and for me, both of these cancelled loan moves are a shame, as it's clear that these 5 or 6 month-long loan spells have been a bit of a waste of time, and it's maybe something that Marcel Brands could take away from these situations. Maybe we need to choose where we loan players to a bit more wisely, and maybe Brands can look into that a bit more in the future. Finally, on the transfer front, Jack Rodwell has today returned to the Premier League for the first time since being relegated with Sunderland. He signed a short-term deal with Sheffield United till the end of the season, so best of luck to him there as he joins fellow ex-Blues Messrs Jagielka, Besic and Lundstram in the Blade squad. And we're going to finish by going from a new Blade to a former Blade. Our own Sheffield-born striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been in fine form, of course, of late, and as a result, he's been nominated for Player of the Month. The vote for Player of the Month is going on now between 8 different players, of which Calvert-Lewin is one, and the vote is still open on the EA Sports website, so be sure to head over there and vote for Dom, of course. Whatever happens in that vote, though, we can all certainly acknowledge that his improved contribution so far this season, and be very pleased with how he's doing. Hopefully that continues under Ancelotti as well as we move forward. And that's your lot for today. Be sure to let us know your opinions on all the big talking points as always, particularly that big Usmanov news. We'd love to hear what you've got to think about that. And of course, yeah, give us a comment, a like, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow, and until then, thanks guys again for watching on the Toffee Blues.